Leo felt the world like a spider's web, and he was the ensnared fly. Every corner hid an observer. Every silent phone call was a veiled threat. Severe paranoia had eroded his life, leaving only fragments of a man who once had friends, a job, a future. His only anchor in reality was a quiet, leather-scented office, the sanctuary of Dr. Alastair Finch. Dr. Finch, with his calm eyes and a voice like a balm, was the one man Leo trusted. He was the architect who would rebuild Leo's ruined mind. Finch's chosen tool was regressive hypnotherapy, a journey into the depths of Leo's subconscious to find the root of his overwhelming fear. "Trust the process, Leo," Finch would say, his gentle voice guiding him into the darkness. "We'll find what's broken and we'll fix it." And Leo trusted. He would sink into the leather armchair, close his eyes, and let Finch's voice pull him down, down into himself. At first, the sessions brought hazy fragments, a feeling of being watched as a child, a fear of the dark. They were his memories, tinted with the sepia of a distant past. But then, something shifted. The memories began to feel wrong. They lacked the familiar warmth of his own life. They were cold, sharp, alien. The first one was of damp stone against his back, a bone-deep chill, a smell of mildew and despair. He couldn't see anything, but he felt the weight of chains on his wrists. Leo woke from the hypnosis gasping, cold sweat trickling down his forehead. "What was that?" he asked, his voice trembling. Finch jotted something on his notepad. "A breakthrough, Leo. Your mind is beginning to show us the original trauma. It's a metaphorical space, a representation of your feeling of imprisonment." Leo wanted to believe him, desperately. But the memory had felt too real. In the following weeks, the visions grew clearer, more terrifying. He saw a vaulted stone ceiling, the flickering light of a torch dancing on the walls. He saw metal instruments on a wooden table, gleaming with a promise of pain. And he heard a voice, a calm, methodical voice, explaining what it was going to do to him. It wasn't Finch's voice, but it had the same controlled cadence, the same dispassionate tone. Leo began to doubt. The paranoia, the beast he was trying to slay with Finch's help, returned with a new, terrible hunger, and its target was the therapist himself. "He's putting these in my head," Leo whispered to himself one night, curled up in his bed, afraid to close his eyes. "He's driving me mad on purpose. He's implanting these things." The idea was insane, the very peak of paranoia. Why would Finch do that? For what purpose? Still, the seed of suspicion had been planted. He started watching Finch during their sessions, analyzing every word, every gesture. The way Finch's eyes never wavered, the small smile that sometimes touched his lips when Leo described a new horror. Was it compassion, or was it satisfaction? Desperate, Leo tried to fight back. In one session, as Finch guided him under, Leo focused on a real memory, a happy one, a day at the beach with his family as a child. The warmth of the sun, the sound of the waves. But the image was invaded. The golden sand turned to the grimy floor of a dungeon. His mother's laughter became a distant scream. And the calm voice was there, whispering in his ear about the fragility of the human body. Leo screamed and tore himself from the trance. "You're doing this! You're putting these in my head!" Finch remained impassive. "Leo, this is your illness speaking. It's resistance. Your mind is creating a villain to avoid facing the real trauma. And you've chosen me. It's a common phenomenon." Finch's words were logical, rational. Leo almost believed him. But the feeling of violation was too strong. He went home and dove into the internet, searching for anything on Dr. Alastair Finch. Complaints, lawsuits, articles. There was nothing. He was a respected professional with flawless credentials. It only made Leo's paranoia worse. A man so perfect, so clean, it was the perfect cover. The final session arrived. Leo was no longer going to be healed. He was going to confront his tormentor. He sat in the armchair, heart hammering against his ribs. He would not let Finch put him under. "We're not doing hypnosis today," Leo said, his voice steadier than he expected. "I want to talk." Finch raised an eyebrow. "About what, Leo?" "About you." The air in the office grew heavy. Leo laid out his theory, the words tumbling out in a jumbled, accusatory stream. He spoke of the implanted memories, the feeling of violation, the suspicion that Finch was conducting some kind of sick experiment. All the while, Finch listened patiently, his face a mask of professional concern. When Leo finished, panting, Finch sighed. "Leo, everything you are describing are classic symptoms of your condition. The persecution, the assignment of malicious intent. We were making such progress. It's sad to see you regress." Finch's calmness was maddening. Leo felt reality slipping through his fingers. Was he crazy? Was this all just his broken mind shattering even further? His desperate eyes scanned the office, searching for something, anything, some piece of proof. And then he saw it. On Finch's desk, next to his notepad, sat a small silver box. It was tiny, ornate, with intricate, aged engravings. Leo had seen that box before, not in the office, somewhere else. The blood ran cold in his veins. One of the false memories surged forward, not as a fragment, but a blinding, complete revelation. The dungeon, the cold, the pain, and a man standing over him. The man's face was blurry, his clothes from another era, but in his hand, he held the small silver box. And then the memory focused on the torturer's eyes. They were calm, analytical, dispassionate eyes. They were Dr. Finch's eyes. "The box," Leo whispered, pointing with a trembling finger. "That box, I've seen it. In the memory. You were there." For the first time, Finch's composure cracked, just for a fraction of a second. A flicker in his eyes, a tightening of his jaw. But it was enough. "Leo, this box has been in my family for generations. It's a simple antique," Finch said, his voice now holding a sharp edge. But Leo wasn't listening anymore. The dam had broken. The memories, someone else's memories from another time, flooded his mind. He wasn't Leo, not just. He was Thomas, a heretic in the 15th century. And the man who interrogated him, who broke him day after day, was an inquisitor. A man who believed pain was the path to the soul's purification. A man with the same eyes as Alastair Finch. You found me again," Leo stammered, shrinking back in the chair. "You tortured me. You killed me." Finch's mask fell away completely. A slow, chilling smile spread across his lips. It was not a smile of joy, but of ancient recognition. "You took longer than the others," he said, his voice now devoid of any therapeutic warmth. Leo's world collapsed. It wasn't paranoia. It wasn't implanted memories. It was reincarnation. And he had sought help from the immortal soul of his executioner. Finch stood up, picking up the small silver box. "It's time to continue our work, Thomas. We have many sessions ahead of us." Leo's scream was swallowed by the soundproofed walls of the office, a sanctuary that had revealed itself to be the same torture chamber from centuries ago. He wasn't crazy. His reality was simply a nightmare from which he had never woken up. This story was a presentation from Shadow Tales.